You've been wearing those heels for 2 hours and your feet are already screaming. Sound familiar? I used to think that was just part of the deal with heels, that if you want to look good, you have to suffer for it. But that's actually not true, and nobody tells you this. There are real ways to wear high heels, including sandal heels, for hours without your feet hating you at the end of the night. I'm going to show you exactly how. Okay, so first, let me explain why heels hurt in the first place, because once you understand this, everything else makes sense. When you put on a heel, your whole body weight shifts forward onto the ball of your foot. That little area right under your toes is now carrying most of your weight. It was not built for that. So the pain you feel after a few hours is basically your foot saying, I was not designed for this angle. The higher the heel, the more pressure goes to that front part of your foot. A 2-inch heel puts about 57% more pressure on the ball of your foot. A 4-inch heel, that number jumps even higher. So the problem isn't heels in general, it's that most people wear them without doing anything to protect that pressure point. Now let's talk about fit, because this is the number one thing that makes or breaks your experience in heels. Most people are wearing the wrong size and they don't even know it. Here's the thing, your feet actually swell throughout the day. By the evening, your feet can be half a size to a full size bigger than they were in the morning. So if you always try on heels in the morning at the store and they feel perfect, and then by the night they're cutting into your skin, that's why. Try to shop for heels later in the day when your feet are already slightly swollen. That way you're getting a more accurate fit for when you'll actually be wearing them. Also, width matters just as much as length. A lot of women focus on the number but ignore whether the shoe is too narrow or too wide for their foot shape. If your toes are getting squeezed together in a pointed toe sandal heel, that's going to cause pain no matter what else you do. Look for styles that give your toes actual room to sit naturally. This is especially important with strappy sandal heels. If the straps are digging into the sides of your feet, you need a different width, not just a different size. Now, here's something that changed everything for me personally: insoles and cushion pads. I know some people think these are for older women or for flat shoes only, but no. Metatarsal pads specifically, those are the little gel or foam pads you stick right under the ball of your foot inside the shoe. They redistribute pressure so that one spot isn't taking all the weight. You can find them for a few dollars at any pharmacy or online, and they fit inside sandal heels too, even strappy ones. You just tuck them right where the ball of your foot sits. The difference is honestly shocking the first time you try it, hours longer before any real discomfort starts. Another thing, heel grips. If the back of your sandal heel keeps slipping or rubbing against your heel bone, you're gonna get blisters fast. Heel grips are small cushion strips you stick to the inside back of the shoe. They create friction so the shoe stays on your foot better, and they also protect your skin from direct contact with the hard material of the shoe. These are super cheap, they're clear so you can't see them, and they work in open back sandal heels too. You just place them where the strap sits on the back of your heel. Let's talk about the shoe itself. Not all heels are built the same, and the structure of the heel makes a huge difference. A block heel or a wedge heel is going to be so much easier to wear for long periods compared to a stiletto, simply because the weight is spread over a larger surface area. If you're someone who's on their feet a lot, a chunky-heeled sandal is going to save you so much pain. Stilettos concentrate all the weight onto a tiny point, which creates instability, and your whole leg ends up working harder just to keep you balanced. That fatigue travels all the way up to your back. The platform also matters. A shoe that has even a small platform under the toe area, even just half an inch, actually reduces the real angle your foot is sitting at. So a 4-inch heel with a 1-inch platform is only really putting your foot at a 3-inch angle. That tiny difference makes it noticeably more comfortable. When you're shopping for sandal heels, look for ones with even a small platform. It changes the feel completely. Now I want to talk about breaking in your heels, because so many people skip this step and then wonder why the shoes are killing them on the first night they wear them. New heels are stiff. The material hasn't molded to your foot yet. You need to break them in before you take them somewhere important.
The best way to do this is to wear them around your house for short periods. Put them on, walk around for 20 or 30 minutes, then take them off. Do this over a few days. Your body heat and the movement actually soften the material so it starts to shape to your foot. Another trick is to put on thick socks, wear the heels, and use a hairdryer on the tight spots for about 30 seconds while flexing your foot. The heat loosens the material faster and the sock keeps the shape stretched. Works especially well on leather or faux leather sandal heels. Okay, let's talk about your feet themselves, because you can do everything right with the shoe and still be in pain if your feet aren't prepped. Dry, rough skin cracks and blisters faster under friction. Moisturizing your feet regularly, especially on the heels and the ball of the foot, makes your skin more resilient. On days when you know you're wearing heels, apply a thin layer of petroleum jelly or a blister prevention balm on the spots that usually rub first: the back of your heel, around any straps, the sides of your toes. This creates a barrier between your skin and the shoe so friction doesn't cause damage as fast. Foot strengthening is something almost nobody talks about, but it actually works. If the small muscles in your feet and calves are stronger, they can support the unusual position heels put your foot in for longer before giving out. Simple exercises like picking up small objects with your toes, doing calf raises, or stretching your calves and arches daily actually make a real difference over time. It's not a quick fix, but if you're someone who wears heels regularly, building that strength means you can wear them longer and with less pain. One last thing, the way you walk in heels matters. Most people, when they start wearing heels, walk the same way they walk in flat shoes, and that's where the awkward look and extra discomfort comes from. In heels, you should put your heel down first and then roll forward to your toe, just like normal walking, but with more intentional movement. Take slightly smaller steps. Keep your core slightly engaged. This posture change takes the pressure off your lower back and helps distribute your weight more evenly while you walk. It also just looks better. So to put it all together, get the fit right by trying shoes on later in the day, use metatarsal pads and heel grips, choose a block or wedge sandal heel when possible, look for a platform for long wear, break them in before the big night, prep your skin, and walk with intention. These are not complicated things. They're just things that people usually figure out after years of painful trial and error. Now you know them up front. If this helped you, subscribe so you never miss a video like this.